What's going on, everyone? Smith here, and this is my trip to Tail of the Dragon, which I did last weekend. Kind of last weekend. It was like the end of last week into the weekend, but it was an absolute blast. I had so much fun. It was the longest, by far, that I have ever ridden on a motorcycle. Like, it wasn't even close. I was out there for a little over 6 hours. It was about 3 hours to get out, about 3 hours back, and then riding the tail. There was a bit of a traffic jam on the tail, which we'll go over. But a little tip for everyone, or just like a reminder. I'm not even going to say it's a tip because everybody already knows this, but I'm just going to remind everyone. Make sure you have your phone fully charged and have means to charge it, whether you have a USB plug charger for your that's already rigged up to your bike, or you have a battery pack, just something when you're going on long trips like this, because my phone died on me just as I was starting to head back. I was about 2 hours and like 40 minutes remaining, and my phone was just like at 5%. It was about to keel over and die. And so I got stuck for a little bit trying to figure out what to do there, which when we get to that part of the video, we'll talk about it, because I do have it. I did capture that, me having to pull over to the side of the road. It was pretty funny. But the original plan for all of this, so me and my friends planned a weekend. We were going to make a weekend of it. And we took some days off work. We rented a cabin. We were going to go up, do Tail of the Dragon, stay at the cabin, go to Gatlinburg and all of that, and, just chill, and then come back. But then as the weekend started to approach, they said it was going to rain. And we were all like, well, what are we going to do now? And my one friend, he didn't even want to ride. He and I were going to be the ones riding, and then the other two were just going to be in a car going up. But he was already like, yeah, I don't want to ride if it's going to rain. And I was kind of thinking I might try my luck, but I didn't have a rain suit or anything, which, by the way, I just got a rain suit, so I will be doing rain riding in the near future, because the rain is not going to stop me, especially since I've been watching a lot of videos about riding in the rain and how to do it, and like how I rode in the rain like one time. I got caught out, and that was it. Like, I've never really considered riding in the rain. I just assumed it was extremely dangerous for motorcycles, but it's apparently not all that dangerous as long as you're careful, just like if you were in a car. But yeah, I didn't have any rain protection going out, so I was unsure of what to do, and we really didn't want to cancel because everybody was really excited for the trip. We were excited to go to Tennessee and everything and just relax in the cabin. We did have the insurance, so if for whatever reason, like, we did cancel, nobody would lose much money other than like the insurance, the traveler's insurance thing. So, but we decided to go anyway, and I took an extra day off work because I'm like, I want to go ride Tail of the Dragon. It was the whole point of me taking off the weekend. I'm going to ride Tail, even if I have to do it all in one day, and that's what I did. I did it all in one day. And it wasn't that bad, I gotta say. People were asking me in the comments of my previous videos, like, you're so tall and you're on a pretty small bike for a guy your size. How is it, like, on longer rides? And now I can confidently say 3 hours, not a problem at all. 4 or 5 hours, you start feeling a little fatigued, you start getting a little tight, a little kind of stiff. By the time you start crossing over that 6 hour line, you're ready to stop. Like, your hands are tired, everything's tired. Like, I'm not used to riding that long. Maybe if I'd gotten a little more used to it, I would have been able to go longer. But there towards the end, I was stretching my leg. Like, every time we were slowing down, I was standing up on the pegs and stretching my legs and everything. I would go around turns, just standing on the pegs, just like, I need to stand. It would be nice to have some highway pegs on this thing. I don't know if I'm going to be able to. I was like kind of looking at the ergonomics. I might have to see if I can't finagle something or get some kind of crash bar set up or something. I don't want to, widen it out too much. So We might have to see. Oh yeah, you might have noticed my new mirrors. I think I made a community post about that, but I got those on Amazon. They're fantastic. They are infinitely better than the mirrors on the Hawk, better than the mirrors that came with this thing, like way better than those. And I love how the top is clear. I did try to flip them under, but they would come up against the tank on the tight turns, so I just left them up. But they're still, I am perfectly happy with them because they're very low profile, and yet I can see just with a simple glance. I don't have to scooch over or do anything. I can just see right behind myself perfectly easy. They're fantastic, and I love that the top is now like perfectly clear. By the way, this trip I hit so many bugs coming out or coming back, like cicadas and all kinds of stuff. Those cicadas were like little paintball bullets. They would hit me and I'd be like, dang, what the heck was that? But every time I was stopping, I had some baby wipes in my backpack to clean my visor off because I knew it was going to get messy. And so I brought some baby wipes and some paper towels. So I was cleaning off my visor like constantly. Every single time I stopped at a gas station or anything, I was like, I'm going to clean off the visor. The fuel efficiency, by the way, on this thing is just fantastic, which it's a motorcycle, so, you know, as to be expected. But it really impressed me because I think the whole trip was about $10 in gas. Yeah, it was about $10 in gas to ride for about, what, a little over 6 hours? Yeah, that second time, I didn't even really need to stop for gas. I just wanted to stop. And I was like, well, we might as well top off since we're stopping. I want to stop and stretch my legs. I'll get some gas. And then, yeah. But I'm really proud of the Eliminator. I really enjoyed the trip and the way it handled. And it did everything I needed it to do. The entire trip. It never faltered. It never struggled. It never made me nervous about like, oh my gosh, is it going to be able to keep going for me riding it for this long? And it's like, yeah, of course it is. It's fine. It did a very solid job. I was very impressed. And the trip itself was just absolutely fantastic. This footage is me heading out there, but we'll go ahead and skip to actually riding the tail. Had to get a picture in front of this cool little dragon sculpture thing. Everybody was doing that too. I had to wait my turn and wait for like people to leave because there was like a line of people. But when I went up, there was like nobody trying to take pictures. I'm like, I'll just let people clear. Plus, I wanted to rest for a bit, give me an energy drink, and you know, just kind of relax. But there were a lot of cool bikes out there and a lot of cars. I did not. I don't know why that didn't even cross my mind that there would be a lot of these like lowrider car people there, but yeah, there were quite a few cars. And I gotta say about we can't even see the tree of shame from here. Oh well, it's over there, over to the right, back there. As far as the turns I don't know what I was expecting for Tail of the Dragon, but you hear about its reputation, you're like, oh, this must be like super technical, very, very tight turns. But honestly, it's not that different from the twisties up towards North Georgia, Dahlonega area. As you start going up that way, it's about on par, maybe a little more. There's a couple of like real back and forth tight stuff. The scenic view, there's a lot of really good views out here as well. But in terms of like difficulty, I took it super slow. This being my first time out here, I wanted to take it really slow, and I particularly didn't want to end up on the tree. So that's the other thing. Like if I screw up on the twisties up north, it's like I don't end up on no tree back there. But if I screw up here, there were some really, really good turns. We did hit a bit of a traffic jam up further up the road here. And we got stuck behind like a group of Harley riders, it looked like, and they were going super slow. And here's the thing, Normally that would be kind of annoying, but this being my first time, I was already wanting to take it slow, and I was really trying not to let anyone get behind me and like pressure me into going faster, because I'm like, I don't know these turns very well. Let's just take it easy, nice and smooth. And it worked out nicely because we were stuck behind them, so I could just be like, well, it's their fault. But actually, I'm quite happy with it. It was funny too, the guy I ran into up here, we chatted for a bit when we get stuck in the traffic jam up here, and he said that he was here on this day because he heard it was supposed to rain all weekend, so he wanted to come out and ride. And that was the reason I was there too. I rode all the way out here just to hit this spot before all the rain comes in on the weekend. And then, over the course of the weekend, there was no rain. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier, but yeah, we went through all this trouble, or I went through all this trouble, I should say. Nobody else had to do anything, really. But, well, our one friend did have to drive us all. We all carpooled in her car, so yeah. Other than that was pretty much all anyone else had to do. But I drove all the way out here, or rode all the way out here early to avoid the rain, and then it didn't even end up raining. And when we were going up to the cabin, it was like way in the side of the mountain, and the hills were so steep and like tight and everything. Like the roads were really tight. And I was just thinking to myself the whole time, this would have been so much fun on the motorcycle. It really aggravated me. The photo booths were really cool. I'll show you guys the photos that I got at the end. You probably already... I'm going to try to have the one I purchased. I got them from that killboy.com, I think it is. I bought one from him, and I just screenshotted the other ones, because it's like, look, man, I don't have that kind of money. I can't buy, like, what is that, $50 worth of photos or something? He got some pretty solid photos, though. But there was one that was just like, okay, I need to buy this one. I'm going to try to have that as the thumbnail. But you see, the roads are, they're fairly tight, fairly windy, but not as bad as I was expecting. Like I said, I don't know particularly what I was expecting, but just something like really hardcore, because it's got such a reputation. But it was fun. It was an absolute blast, and it was really cool seeing all the bikes and all the different people there. You met a lot of interesting people. I picked me up a couple of souvenirs at the souvenir shop. That was fun. And the whole trip was just an absolute blast. And I would definitely recommend it to anyone who has a motorcycle. I think it's a worthwhile trip. It's very nice. You get some really nice views out here, and the kind of motorcycle atmosphere is really cool. Like, all the people are cool. And yeah, you'll get some sweet shots like this. I almost wanted to pull over. I'm like, I'll just kind of look out there with the camera, and then people can pause if they like. I was trying to keep up with that one guy, but he got a little away from me. I'm like, it's better to just take it easy. Especially since there was no one behind me. I would have pushed a little bit harder if there was someone like riding my ass, but there was no one behind me. So I was just taking it nice and slow. You never know what's around the corner, and you don't want to be caught, going a little too fast. Overall, we had a blast, and after I got back, we went up to the cabin anyway, and that was a great weekend. That was a really awesome little excursion. We saw a bear. I've got some footage of that. I'll show you in a minute. But yeah, it was a good time. We did hit a bit of a traffic jam coming up soon, but just getting out and riding. This is my first seriously long day trip on the motorcycle, and in terms of cramps, I did start to cramp a bit as we were We were nearly back. We were almost done for the day, and I started cramping up a bit. And it was about, 5.5, 6 hours in, something like that. My bent knees started to get a little stiff. Starting to get a little, even with me standing up, it wasn't helping too much. My hands were like blistered through the gloves when I got back. Like, I don't have the softest hands in the world or anything. You know, they're not exactly hardcore callous. Like, I don't do a lot of work with my hands, but still, like, my hands aren't exactly super soft. So the fact that even through the gloves they were getting blistered towards the end of the ride, it's like, dang, we've really been I tell you one thing that I am in desperate need of on this thing. I'm gonna see if I can't find some way to mod it to get some kind of cruise control lever to like hold the throttle open when I'm riding down the highway, because that was driving me crazy. I was not able to let go of the throttle, and I'm just like cruising at a nice steady pace, but I can't let go of the throttle. And I'm like, I have to keep my hand closed for the entire gosh dang ride. Got a little aggravating. Because, like, I would shake the other hand off or just, like, rest it. And I'm like, man, I really wish I could rest my throttle hand, but I can't. Because you got to keep it open. Although it stops and everything, you know, you can shake out the cobwebs. But it would just be nice, because you'll be cruising down those long roads for a while. And, yeah, it can wear on you after a bit. But kind of nice country rides, I think, is where the Eliminator shines the most. Like, as far as the highway and the high-speed stuff, it can do it, for sure. Like, 1,000% it can do it. But in terms of just, like, what it's best suited to, I think country road rides are what it's best suited to. I think just like nice, long, windy country roads is where the Eliminator shines the best, I think. But if you need to go on the highway, you need to keep pace with traffic, you need to go on a very long ride, it'll get you there. Absolutely will get you there. I never once had trouble keeping pace with traffic. And the vibrations were not really an issue. Like, you could kind of feel them, but, I mean, here's the thing. My previous bike was the Hawk. You talk about feeling vibrations. Good Lord. I'm over here bobbing my head to the music. It's so true. There's, like, a meme where people have, like, this raccoon dancing or whatever. It's like, what's going on in someone's head in a motorcycle helmet. And it's like they're listening to music and there's like a raccoon in their head dancing or whatever. It's like, yeah, that's about accurate. It's like I'm just jamming out to the music, and people are looking like, what is that guy doing? It's like he's having the time of his life, man. But riding motorcycles is the most fun way to travel, in my opinion. The more I ride, the more I enjoy it. It seems to be. I have not gotten even a little bit bored of it. It is a little annoying to get all the gear on. I listened to one video where this person, I'm not going to name fingers or point names, but this one person said it takes them like an extra half hour to get ready when they have when they have to take their bike because they have to get all their gear on. And I'm like, in what world? Like, what kind of gear are you wearing that it takes you a half hour to get the gear on? Like, if I know I'm going to ride that day, I put my riding pants on first thing in the morning. Like, I don't even bother I get out of my jammies, I put my riding pants on. You know, or I get out of the shower, put my riding pants on. Right, instead of my regular pants. So, that's already a moot point as far as I'm concerned. It's not really additional time. And then I throw my jacket on, I put my boots on. And what? That's supposed to be an extra 30 minutes? Nah. Like I said, I don't know what that other person's doing, but it sounds like they're not doing it right. if it takes you that much longer. Which 30 minutes isn't like the longest amount of time, but it seems like for just throwing a jacket on, which is like, what kind of gear are you wearing? I don't know. Oh yeah, here's another really good shot if I look out there. Yeah, we had some really, really good shots of just like stuff like this. I really enjoyed it. Could do without all the power lines, but still, it was nice. And the feeling of like, you know, the roads just like carved into the side of the mountain. It was such good fun. But yeah, we got caught behind these guys, and they were going super slow, because I mean, look at their bikes. Of course they're going to go slow around these turns, but that was fine with me. It was perfectly fine with me, because like, I'm still kind of green in terms of riding on the street, and I'm particularly new to this area, so I wanted to take my time and get familiar with the twists and turns and everything, so I was perfectly happy to take it nice and slow. So, if anyone's asking, or if anyone's wondering, you know, should I go on Tail of the Dragon? Is it going to be difficult? Is it going to be too dangerous? No. The answer to that is no. Just don't let people bully you into going faster that you're comfortable with. And, you know, if people are piling up behind you, you know, pull over, let some people pass, right? And then I did that. I've done that a couple of times on the twisties, the North Georgia twisties. I've done that a few times where it's like I'll have some sport bike guys behind me, and I'll just like pull over to the side and I'll wave them past. I'll be like, yeah, get on. So like, cause I'm not gonna go as fast as you guys anyway. Like the Eliminator can take turns pretty tight and pretty fast, but not sport bike fast. You know, I'm not gonna be going that fast. I'm not gonna be dragging a knee or anything. What else? Oh yeah, here comes another picture. I know, huh? I'm trying to wave at the camera. There was a stop that I had up here where I was at a gas station and the cicadas were like in full swing. I took my helmet off and took my headphones out, and I could not believe how loud it was. It was even loud in the store. I was at the gas station. I'm like, I'm going to get a soda, and I could hear them still, just like they were like full blast. I was like shocked when I took my helmet off, and so I'll see if I can't get some of that audio. But yeah, it was insanely loud, like ridiculous. Like, I guess that's the cicada apocalypse everyone was talking about. Like, holy smokes! But I don't think I got full footage of the entire trip through the tail, because I'm pretty sure my battery died on me somewhere through here. I thought I had enough juice, and I had bought extra batteries for this trip, but still, those batteries would die on me. It was a nice little ride, though. Everybody's taking their time, not trying to rush anything. And a lot of photo booths. That's another reason people should go, is you can get your picture taken and you can get some pretty sweet shots. Let's go ahead and have a look at some of those pictures. Especially since we were coming up to the traffic jam in that video anyway. But yeah, here we go. So yeah, killboy.com. Guy took some pretty good pictures. People always tell me, by the way, whenever they see me and my getup, they're like, you must get really hot out there. And I'm like, no, the jacket's got vents on it. So when the air's passing through, it's really not that bad. Even when it's like kind of hot outside. It's when you get caught in traffic that it'll really start to wear on you. That's the money shot right there, baby. That one is the one that I bought, and obviously you can see why. That was, I was like, yeah, I'm going to need to buy that one. They're like $10 a photo, so it's not terrible, but I obviously wasn't going to buy the whole set and be like, that's too rich for my blood. But yeah, I very much enjoy that picture. I could even see myself getting that like framed or something. That is a solid shot right there. Definitely something worth doing. Check out their websites. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to stop at the booths or anything. I just rode through there, went home, checked the website, and they already had my pictures on there. You know, like $10 a photo. I'm like, all right, fair enough. I'll snag me one of them. And there's a photo of the Eliminator on the in front of the, what do you call it? The Dragon. It's a cool little spot. A lot of bikes there. So this is basically the rest of the footage, unfortunately, because we got stuck here for a while. So I should have pulled off the side of the road and checked my battery, but I was kind of just hoping, because I had just put a fresh battery in when I was at the little gift shop area. I'm like, well, surely that should be enough to get footage for the entire ride, but apparently not. Battery kind of keels over here. And this is me cruising my way home and trying to race against my dying phone, and I'm gonna fail. We're gonna go ahead and skip ahead, but I really liked some of these just wide open road shots, and the fact that, you know, it was a Thursday afternoon, so there was like no traffic. It was just really nice to just cruise like down these long stretches of road, and just like, but these were the kind of places where I'm like, man, I wish I had cruise control, because this, you know, started to wear on my wrist. I was like, and my hand, having to keep it locked on the darn handlebar the entire time. Alright, so I just realized that my phone's about to die. It's like on 5% or something, and I'm like, yeah, we need to find, so the initial plan was to just find a Starbucks. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna find a Starbucks or something, like wherever's nearby, plug my phone in, let it charge up a bit, and then, or a Dunkin' Donuts, I think is what I looked for first, but there wasn't anyone nearby, so I looked for a Starbucks, because I'm like, well, surely there's gotta be a Starbucks. And I could find one, but it was in a store. They did have wall chargers for sale, so I bought one of those and I plugged in my phone, and my phone was estimating about 3.5 hours before it was fully charged. And here's the thing, it was already like 5 o'clock in the afternoon, right? I could not, even for half the time, and I would need at least half the time, right? My phone's dead. I would need at least half my phone's battery life to get back, probably. So I would need to be there for what? An hour and 30 minutes at least, or maybe more, maybe 2 hours almost. That in addition to the fact that I'm still 2 hours and 40 minutes of a ride away from my house. Like, it would be dark by the time I got back to my house. So I'm like, this is not going to work out. So what I ended up doing was getting a battery pack and hoping that it came charged, which it did, thank goodness, and I was able to plug my phone into it. And the battery pack was one of those like solar kind of charged ones, so I just clipped it to the outside of my backpack, hoping that maybe it would charge a bit off the sun, and just ran the cable through. It had a little clip thing, so I could attach it to my bag pretty easy. And that worked out great, because my phone was like 50% charged by the time I got to the house. Like, it just kept charging the whole ride. Thank goodness, because I had sat there for like 30 minutes, and I'm like, this is not going to work out. I need to come up with something else. And it's like, but if, you know, I need to have a way to charge my phone. And fortunately, I was able to find those battery packs. Otherwise, yeah, it probably would have been nighttime by the time I got back home. And I would have had to sit there for a long time. But it all worked out. Let that be a lesson. Always, always, always. Here's the thing. I have a battery pack at home. I had it sitting on the table. I meant to bring it. I forgot to put it in. And about 10 minutes into my ride out, I had remembered that I had forgot to bring my battery pack. And I'm like, it'll be fine. My phone's fully charged. If I need to, I'll stop and get a couple more percent at like a coffee place or whatever, get some coffee. And just none of that went according to plan at all. But we made it work. So, in the end, always, always, always have a means to charge your phone whenever you're going on lengthy trips like this. That should be self-explanatory, just a reminder to anyone. Like, everybody already knows this, but I'm just reminding you because clearly it's something that's easy to forget. At least it's easy for me to forget, alright? But all in all, once that was squared away and I got back on the road, I was able to make my way back home without any trouble. And my jacket, the bike, my helmet, my pants even, were completely covered in bugs. Here's the thing. I really, at least after doing this long trip, I really now appreciate the windscreens that people have and like the, those big kind of bulky, like fat-looking cruisers. Here's the thing. I never really cared for those. Personally, just like aesthetically, I never thought they looked very good, like at all. But they're probably way, way, way better for these longer cruises for like hours on end. It's like no question because you're not getting peppered with bugs and you're not having to get constantly beat up by the wind and everything. So, yeah. I now have a much greater appreciation for those. And, I could realistically see myself getting a touring bike. Like, the more I ride, the more I'm like, I feel like I need more motorcycles. Even though I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to get the Eliminator. I got the Hawk for my dual sporting, and then I got the Eliminator, and now I'm done. But now I'm like, I could do with a touring bike. Or like an adventure bike with a nice windscreen, some saddlebags on the back, just a nice like big engine one that you could just truck along and go across the country for like really, really long amount of times. You rig up some like highway pegs on that, you'd be sitting pretty nice. That and a sport bike. I would not necessarily, the faster I ride, the more I'm like, I kind of want a sport bike. I like the cruiser aesthetic more. Like I like the kind of bobber style. I feel like that looks way better than a sport bike, in my personal opinion. All right, it's not that sport bikes don't look good; they look great. I really like this kind of like cruiser type thing. But like trimmed back cruiser, where it's like not all the bells and whistles. I like that better personally. But that's not to say that sport bikes look great, and I imagine the aerodynamics are much more comfortable at highway speeds than this was. Not that this is terribly uncomfortable. I've gotten quite used to the wind and just having to tank blasts of wind with my face. Like, it's not the most ideal thing in the world, but the more you ride, the more you get used to it, and it just like becomes an afterthought, really. So, all in all, that's been my trip to Tail of the Dragon. I got a little extra footage. This video's running pretty long though, so I think we're gonna cut it here. I do have a little extra footage that I may post later. So, but not of the tail, just kind of my trip there and trip back, because I also had extra battery life, and I was like, well, I got plenty of storage, might as well record the trip back. So, we'll see what we can do there, but I would definitely recommend the tail to anyone, if you got friends or, you want to take a trip, like, you can definitely go solo. I just went solo, but I could easily see like a group of friends going and just like hitting it up. The spot's really nice. The shops are really cool. You see a lot of really cool bikes there, and the people are very friendly. So I would definitely recommend it. Just bring the means to charge your phone. Alright, that's going to do it for me. I'll see you in the next one. Oh, by the way, here's the footage of the bear that was going around our cabin while we were out in Tennessee. And I know some people might be like, "Oh, it's just a bear or whatever," and it's like, yeah, well, I live out in the country, kind of, and I don't really see bears all that often, so it's kind of neat when you do see them. It also, by the way, broke into my friend's car. It was so funny, too, because I was upstairs and in the bathroom washing my hands. I turn around and I see the car door is open. And I'm like, did someone leave the car door open? Nobody left the car door open. We run out to check on it, and we were sure that just somebody left it open and forgot. But it just seemed like it didn't make any sense. And then later we heard from a local that the bears have been breaking into cars around there. And it broke into my friend's car. And when we looked closer, we saw paw prints on the side of the car. So it also scared the bejesus out of both my friends, which was also hilarious. But, yeah, fun little bear experience. Bear and its cute little cub.
Hi.
How fuck that?
You guys.
What happened?
That was the funniest shit ever.
Did it
Dude,
stand up?
oh yeah, the bear scared the piss. I'm glad I got that on video. That was hilarious.
She's waiting. She's like, you gonna give me something or what?
It's like, guys, I can't climb up here.
I don't believe you, but alright.
You kidding me?
No, absolutely not. You okay?
Yeah, the guy on the motorcycle, one of the guys who was delivering something to our house, he delivered it on a motorcycle. He was riding through the neighborhood, and we were worried about him because the bear was right at the bottom of the driveway while he was at the top of the driveway. And we're like, hey, maybe just hang out here for a minute and let the bear and its cub leave, you know? And he said that he sees them all the time. So he wasn't that worried. And apparently they get scared off by the sound of the motorcycle, so he wasn't particularly worried. But he does carry bear spray just in case. Or yeah, if I was him, I'd be carrying a gun. Well, that's going to wrap it up for real this time. All right, I'll see you in the next one.